With Scully taking leave, Doggett is assigned a new temporary partner. Their first case has them investigating a mysterious death.
As they dig, details emerge of reptilian evidence. Is this a murder or an animal attack?
This is not happening.
Age-old question, Doggett.
I vote murder.
Whenever someone's dead, I wonder if it was an iguana.
Well, yeah, I didn't see this one coming when I watched this episode. I the reveal still makes me cock my head to the side and go, really? But
uh-oh.
Yeah, well, oh boy, did I tip my hat there a little?
Yeah, a little bit, Andrew.
All right,
a little bit.
We're talking about Alone, Season 8's Episode 19. And
double whammy.
It's written and directed by Frank Spotnitz, which is the big deal here. Has he written and directed others, or is this his first?
He has not. This is his first directorial. This is his kick at the can, as you say, to kind of guide the episode in the direction he wants. So that's pretty interesting.
So this is unfiltered Frank Spotnitz.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, they do, tease at the pregnancy angle a little bit. So, and I think he has license to do that, given that he and Chris Carter are usually the ones that write the mythology stuff. So it's fine, but it's a light touch there.
Yeah, not overly important to the plot, but Scully takes her leave finally, so that leaves Doggett to follow an X-File without her help.
Oh, he's taking the training wheels off. He's on his own.
Yeah, Scully's got the seat and the handlebar, and she lets him fly. He pedals along the sidewalk.
You can do it, Johnny.
You can do it. But, this episode introduces Layla Harrison.
Layla Harrison, yes. Apparently created and named in memory of an X-Files fan and writer of X-Files internet fan fiction. This fan, however, unfortunately died tragically February 10th, 2001. So a character created in memory of. I don't think you see a whole lot of this.
Good for them. The last I can think that we saw it was The Thinker. They paid homage to someone on the internet at that time in season 2. I'm not 100% sure what their name was, or if they have a name. I just know that there was some reference to someone online, or at least the online forums with that character.
All right. Well, there's not a lot of discussion before this episode, I think, because it's Monster of the Week.
Mulder's last, and officially.
Yeah, Mulder's last. But he's been kind of toes out for a while now.
Mm-hmm. So after this, I guess Frank Spotnitz got the last, technically, Monster of the Week with Mulder. Can he bring it home, Andrew? Can he bring it home?
Well, I'll save my answer to that question for later, although I may have indicated a few things so far. But,
oh, boy.
Yeah. Let's dive into it, and we'll see exactly how I feel about it.
All right.
Okay. Well, we open on a windy night in Ellicott, New York. Actual place, by the way. Man drives up to a house, getting out of his car and bundling inside to get out of the cold. Inside, the man, whose name is Gary, passes by an older man in a wheelchair. The man has a heart rate monitor telling us the old man's got a steady 62 beats per minute. Gary goes to the fireplace to warm up as the old man, Gary's father, asks Gary if he did what he wanted. Gary says he did, but his demeanor suggests he didn't, telling his father he doesn't owe Stites anything. Gary fills in a bit of plot. He's freezed his butt off every night checking and rechecking locks. For what? You don't need to know, says his dad as Gary mopes off to the kitchen to make some dinner. The camera pivots around his father as an open window lets in a draft. Dad's heart rate increases as he gets scared, eventually looking upward as his heart rate spikes. He sees something in the rafters. He laments to himself that Gary didn't, and then it's too late. Camera blasting towards Dad as an unseen enemy takes him. In the kitchen, Gary takes his meal out of the microwave, hearing a noise in the room and the flat line of his dad's heart monitor. He rushes to investigate, but his father is nowhere to be found. The room is eerily silent. He hears a noise behind him, and the camera sees a slithering tail in the foreground. Gary turns around slowly, and a monster leaps at him, sending us immediately to the credits.
Oh my God.
Yeah. In your face.
So it's actually a monster. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
A lot of times Monster of the Weeks are ideas. They are characters, but this looks like it's going to be a bona fide monster.
An actual monster. It's been a while. So props for that. Yeah. For me, opening presents more questions than answers, obviously. That's how a good opening does. But how about you?
Intriguing. I like it. I like the tease of the monster, and I like the discourse between father and son. I think that's a decent setup as to, you always look for the clues right in the beginning sequence. So I think this did a pretty good job.
Well, we come back after the opening to the X-Files office as a very pregnant Scully clears out her desk. And I was curious, is she actually this pregnant right now? Like, this is her second kid, or is this a prosthetic? I think
this is fake.
You think it's fake?
I think.
Quickly research the birth of her children.
Now you got me questioning it.
All right, you can look into that while I continue the dialogue here. So she finds a few trophies, the fused pennies from Dreamland, Queequeg's name tag. Dog.
Not pregnant.
What? She's not pregnant?
Not pregnant.
She's just wanting time off from the show, and she's faking a pregnancy to get out of it. I love it.
Yeah, typical.
All right, John Doggett arrives, and she announces that she won't be staying. Her doctor has insisted that she start her maternity leave now. And with a pitifully small box of her own belongings in hand, she begins to leave, but not before giving Doggett the commemorative token celebrating the Apollo 11 landing and reminding us of her own relationship with Mulder. She's nostalgic about the last year with Doggett, telling him she wouldn't be here without him. Yeah. How many episodes did he actually literally save her life? At least 2?
At least 2.
Yeah.
Thus begins the peppering in, if you will, of fan service. They really felt, I believe, that this was a good way, because it's Mulder's last Monster of the Week. They're reminding us of all the times. So she's digging through his desk. She's got the 2 coins fused together from Dreamland. She's got the medallion from season 4, her birthday. This is the beginning of the fan service, which is okay. It's not overbearing, I should say. But
listen, it's a treat for fans to be able to sort of point at that and go, oh, right, I remember that from Dreamland. Oh, right, I remember that from Detour. Those bits and pieces are fine. At least they're not making huge plot points out of it. Wait, they are with the Apollo 11 item. But anyway, that's fine. It's fine.
Well, I mean, that one at least works. I mean,
it becomes a clue.
Mulder gave that to her in Tempest Fugit and Max officially. But yeah, I mean, I think the sentiment is the same. Mulder gave it to her for her birthday.
Yeah.
And he just thought it was kind of cool, was his excuse. But yeah, I think it's a decent plot point to bring back.
Oh yeah, why not? And it's it makes sense. She's packing up her office. She's going to be away.
Yeah.
So you're going to get an opportunity to see the meager belongings that she has in the office.
I never had a desk, so
I never had a desk. I really, if you're going to fan service anything, that would have been the thing.
My pen and notepad. That's what I've been allowed to keep here.
Well, before she goes, after a long, significant hug and a significant glance, Doggett asks if the pregnancy is just leave. Is she coming back? To which she does not provide an answer, just like the producers of the show at this point.
Well, Jillian did have to be convinced, but I like the question. I like that he clocks it. I like that there's the question everyone in that moment is asking is like, is this really the end?
Yeah.
I think it's pretty well crafted, just because Doggett sees through the bullshit. He knows that she's got a life and that now she's going to have a baby with Mulder, whether or not they're partners or whatever. Yeah. That's a genuine question. I think everyone at that moment's like, right, I buy that question.
Yeah, so. Well, it's smart. It's good. It's some of the best writing so far in this episode. Well, the camera lingers on Doggett for a moment, alone in the X-Files office. He hears someone approach, thinking it's Scully, and we have that little moment, oh, you couldn't resist me, or couldn't go out for 5 minutes, and you got to come back, whatever. But it's not. It's not Scully. In fact, it's a new character, Layla Harrison.
I've been looking forward to meeting you. I've got a case here, an X-file, I think. At least the local PD can't explain it. A murder last night in upstate New York. I booked us on a flight to Buffalo, Niagara. Here's the crime report.
I'm sorry, Miss Harrison. Who are you?
Oh, gosh. They didn't tell you? This is so embarrassing. I'm your new partner.
Well, Doggett's got a new partner. Layla Harrison. Time for us, Mike, to talk about Layla Harrison.
Layla Harrison. I like her. And not to get into it right away, I think she's a fun little addition to the show, at least for this episode. I don't know if it was a premonition or not, but I feel like she is the archetype for the way crime dramas go. Not just now, but early 2000s. So, you've got the quirky, off-the-wall, underdog police officer who manages to get the job done, right? You've got CSI, NCIS, Psych. They do a whole show revolving around that idea.
Yep.
So I think this is kind of like, it feels like a catalyst. I'm not going to claim this is the first time they've done it, obviously, but I think it's what became a trope after this in television history, where you've got one kind of hard-nosed officer who knows how to do everything and the other one who manages to do everything. So, or there's just a quirky character, like I don't even know her character's name, but I believe it's NCIS with the goth lab girl. She's weird. She's different, but she's good at what she does, or something to keep the episodes light enough. That kind of comic relief moment. But
yeah.
That's kind of where I see her.
And yet this episode doesn't really delve too deeply, thankfully, into yuck comedy. But certainly she's the one. If there's a character who is going to be that, it's her.
She's definitely, the lighthearted. She's very knowledgeable, but she's like childlike with her innocence and the way she approaches things, that she's so excited, and it's humorous. Mm-hmm. It's just a parallel that I noticed with kind of how crime dramas move forward, at least in the 2000s. So
what I have, if I have an objection to anything here, it's that Doggett has no clue that he's getting a new partner. It's just like, oh.
Well, that's just Kirsch sticking it to him.
I suppose.
Fuck you.
But why bother? If he's looking to shut down the X-Files, then why bother give him a partner?
You're on it by yourself, sucker.
Yeah, like, this is a surefire way to get yourself killed in the kind of cases I've read about.
Maybe that's why it's too obvious.
Yeah.
So you're going to send me to an oil rig alone?
I tried once and it didn't work. This lets me get rid of Layla Harrison as well, actually. If I
God, she's annoying. She is annoying.
She's a believer. She's got no place in the FBI.
Or maybe he just believes she's so fumbling that she'll ruin it.
Yeah, maybe.
Or do something stupid.
Maybe. Anyway, just the idea. I mean, Doggett's pretty plugged in. Like, we've seen him be like, I know a thing or two because I've got a buddy or whatever. But the fact that this is a complete surprise to him, it's a good gag. I'm not going to say it's bad because it's like, oh, I'm your new partner. I saw it coming a mile away, and I'm surprised he didn't either. Right. It's like, you booked his tickets? Who's us? Yeah, his reaction. Right. Like, he's a pretty good investigator. I'm surprised he'd be like, oh, you're my new partner. Okay.
Oh, you're not just getting me my coffee. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Layla Harrison, now part of the X-Files. Okay, let's see how long this lasts. Cut to her in a hospital bed. Not long. Anyway. So we cut to upstate New York as Doggett and Harrison get out of their rental vehicle and meet up with local law enforcement. Crime scene folks are taking away the body of the father, which was found 50 yards from the house. Harrison tells Doggett she's asked them to send the body to D.C., while Harrison suggests looking at where the body was found, but Doggett overrides her, preferring to look in the house first. So inside the house, Harrison reviews the details of the murder. The old man is Arlen Sachs, 72 years old. He's the caretaker for the estate on which this haunted house is situated. Sachs has been confined to a wheelchair, cared for by his son Gary, who is also missing, and considered the prime suspect. Meanwhile, Doggett finds a bit of goo and checks around the window that was flapping open last night, finding more. Doggett dismisses the son as a suspect, but on the sight of goo, Harrison gets excited, thinking that maybe the suspect isn't a someone, but a something.
The tombs.
Outside, Harrison and Doggett walk through the woods. Doggett asks after Harrison's experience and reveals she has none. Doggett guesses that Kirsch handed her the job, and Doggett reveals he's thinking that she's being used by Kirsch, who is no friend to the X-Files. Harrison, however, says that she begged for this assignment. She used to process Mulder and Scully's travel forms. This sounds eerily familiar. So she's very familiar with the cases that they've investigated. And Mike, is this Trudy?
Yes. This is her.
This is finally Trudy given form.
Absolutely.
You need to get a alien body back from the Arctic?
You need a body
I
bag?
can sort you.
Oh.
I got a guy in Anchorage who can sort you out.
We got a mountain-sized ice block carrier. We'll get that boxed up and shipped down to the United States. No problem.
We got you covered. You need to get off of a UFO mysteriously in Antarctica. I got a boat that can take you to Cape Town, and then from there.
What's that? You're stranded in the middle of nowhere in sub-degree temperature? I got you covered.
I saw your signal flare from the satellite. I got you.
Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, not her. Clearly, Layla Harrison is not that character, but she's pretty good, apparently. She'll have some good insights. Well, at the site of where Sax's body was found, Doggett finds a bit more slime. Harrison indicates it could be bile, like from a liver-eating mutant. Doggett dismisses it. Harrison suggests it could be an alien who sheds its skin, but Doggett throws her a glance to suggest it's not that either. With no great evidence, I might add, it could be either of those things. As Harrison takes the sample to give to the local PD, Doggett hears something in the distance, and we get another sly view of the monster's tail sliming away. Doggett walks off. Okay, so we got a bit more fan service, nods to other better episodes, but done in a nice offhand, don't you remember the time when kind of way,
right,
as opposed to actually trying to weave those narratives in.
Right. And I guess I was going to save this for final thoughts, but let's just get it out here. I think the episode is fine in terms of the way it's written. I'm okay with the fan service. That's fine. I appreciate a good trip down memory lane for a couple seconds. But it feels like perhaps Spotnitz was like, I need to keep the core audience, so I'm just going to keep reminding them this is the same show. Remember these good times? It's like it feels like he's not confident in his episode, and I don't agree with that. I think it's a competent episode. I just sometimes it feels like distraction. Look over here. Yeah. This is something you need to pay attention to for a few seconds to keep you interested, but I don't think that's fair to himself.
I would agree with that, actually. I mean, the core point of this episode feels a bit rushed and overlooked. The monster, essentially, and the monster's story feels like a side quest to other aspects of the show. And it's fine, I suppose. But he's definitely taking the opportunity to weave in other stuff that is not salient to the plot. Mm-hmm. For the sake of fan service, ultimately.
Right.
All right. Well, we're going to cut to Mulder and Scully, who are at Scully's apartment as they prepare to go off to Lamaze training, maybe? I mean, it's not really stated, I think.
No, I would imagine some sort of motherly class, learning how to breathe properly.
Well, of course. And
deal with the horrible, horrible thing that's about to pop out of your no-no place. So
exactly.
That's exactly what the title is, too.
The no-no place. Don't think I didn't hear that. All right. Mulder has been reading up on pregnancy, and he has suddenly got a lot of time on his hands. Scully reveals she's feeling badly about leaving the office, feeling like a deserter, and perhaps concerned about leaving Agent Doggett on his own. They watched each other's backs. Mulder suggests that Doggett can look after himself and suggests Scully needs to start worrying about her own little boy or girl. Boy? Girl? Scully doesn't give us an answer. The tease. So this is the only ammunition that pregnant people have to let other people be interested.
Right.
Is what's the gender? What's the name? How can I be involved by knowing the big secret that you have?
And there's only 2 answers.
Not even telling Mulder. That's dark.
Yeah. What a jerk.
You don't deserve to know. You haven't been here the whole time. You've been dead.
You were gone for 3 months, sir.
Where were you?
And then you were dead for another 3.
Yeah. This whole history is still the fact that this is a normal moment in their relationship. It just boggles my mind considering his backstory. Like, why isn't he in extreme counseling at this point? But he's totally fine.
No, he's good.
He's good. I'm fine. I'm regenerated. I'm
just
better.
another day in the X-Files.
That's right. Well, meanwhile, Doggett has arrived at the grand estate of the property, entering the house and looking around. And to the sounds of a delightful Mark Snow's piano, Doggett passes by a lot of tarps, ending up in an office which features an older computer, test files, and a book. The Sixth Extinction by Richard Leakey, which feels like another little bit of fan
another
service.
nod.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll
To a shitty episode.
But Spotnitz must have been involved in that, so...
Of course.
It's his.
Of course.
Now, were all the other side bits episodes that he'd been involved with as well? Was he into? Was he
That's
Tooms?
a good question. I don't have the answer to that.
I mean, he's a producer on the show.
I'd be surprised. Yeah, I would be surprised if he had direct involvement in all of them. But
yeah,
maybe I'll definitely take a look.
Well, Doggett opens up the book and reads the inscription, which says, "For Herman Stites, may you find what you seek." Suddenly, a camera shifts. It takes us to the hall that Doggett walked down, a point of view shot from something low to the ground, which pivots impossibly to the wall as it careens towards Doggett. It waits by the corner of the office, looking at Doggett, who seems to be aware of its presence, slowly taking out his gun and turning around. But there's nothing there. He walks slowly towards the hallway, the music swelling, waiting, and, gun pointed, Harrison walks into frame. Doggett, reacting, shoots her in the face. She falls down, blood splat. Oh, wait, that's not actually what happened. But it could have.
Whoops.
So she just gives a handy, oh, look at that. You've got a gun pointed at me. Hands up, little motion there. She followed him, and Doggett tells her, it's here. She asks what to do, confirming she has a gun. Doggett's plan. She's going to go outside and wait by the door, and he's going to try and flush it out. She does, standing by the door, and we hear the telltale slithering of the monster above her. In a shot reminiscent of the opening, the camera pounces on her from above. And we're back with Doggett as we hear shots from outside, and he rushes to her aid. And I'll give her props. She manages to get some shots off. When he gets to the door, Layla Harrison is gone. He looks around, seeing a well-worn path leading through the lawn into the woods beyond, and following it, he finds a small leaf-strewn area. He hears a slight creaking beneath him, and suddenly a trapdoor opens, and he falls through. The trapdoor snaps shut, and it looks dire for our agent.
Oh my God,
as
that's
we
it.
fade to our first commercial.
It's that time, everyone. The Magus Media Production sales pitch. Please check out our homepage at magusmediaproductions.net so you can stay up to date on all of our shows. Check out our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Magus Media Productions, both of which have our Discord link on it, where you can join us for live shows as we record them for future release. At Magus Media Prods on X, our Patreon, patreon.com/Magus Media, where a $5 donation will help us keep the lights on and bringing you new content, and you get some stickers. Thank you for your consideration and support. Well, we know they are not built for the X-Files.
No, they were not going to make it through this episode.
The agents, unfortunately, lasted maybe an hour on the ground. From airport to case, they are dead. And that's the end of the X-Files. You got your answer.
That's right. It's an interesting way to end the show. It was provocative for the time, but that's how it went. I have questions about that trapdoor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, it feels, obviously it's a neat gag. classic Dungeons and Dragons pit that you never saw. You failed your perception
Right.
check or whatever, and boom, you're done. But the setup for it, like, if I think in terms of like Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, his activity to set the traps for the Predator, like that's an hour-long montage of work,
Right.
and effort to get to this point.
Right.
I don't see that with the monster, carefully arranging the leaves, getting the trapdoor weighted just right, and then waiting underneath it so we can slam it shut again after Doggett's been, taken.
So you don't think it's like a spring? I think it's spring loaded personally, like where it would close itself. So I don't think that he's there waiting for it. I think he's rigged it up so that, and because he's part-time monster, part-time human.
He does half his work when he's in uniform.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously this guy's nuts. So the fact that this little contraption is built is okay with me. I think the placement's a little odd.
I also do. Like, who swings down in this spot? Like, why don't you have, a
Like
better
put it on the
area?
sidewalk or the driveway.
Yeah. Right by the front door,
Get some visitors, man.
Yeah. The whole setup it's this classic monster layer situation where it's like, what is this place and how is it possible? Who made this? How did it get made? The monsters or the villain's lair, suggests
Rich people, man. Rich people.
Well, it must be rich people. Like the Death Star
Look
is the
at the
ultimate
house.
example, right? The contractors
Right.
that would be involved to make the Death Star. It's like,
Keeping that one quiet.
yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It speaks to this. It's a classic case of the X-File where this one thing speaks to a larger story that you just,
You
do
just
not
can't get to.
do not think about this because it makes kind of weird sense. But it happens. So
boy.
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, what did you think of the whole action setup on this? I've monopolized the conversation up to this point.
No, not at all. I think the setup's fine. Again, my only question is the placement of the trapdoor. Why there and not somewhere in the house or somewhere that a lot of victims would fall prey to it. But other than that, they had to be split up. They had to be put in danger. I'm fine with that. It plays into the idea that the X-Files can't be done without Mulder and Scully. And I'm okay with that because at the end of the episode, it kind of resolves in a satisfying way or somewhat satisfying way. So I'm okay with the fact that the two newbies get snatched up in the first hour and okay, now it's a tactical FBI search for their missing agents. I'm fine with that. They have to loop Scully and Mulder in, or at least just Mulder somehow. So the setup's fine with me.
The thing I wonder about is the production quality. Like, if this maybe loops back to your question of why there, because they needed to make a pit that Doggett can fall into. So that's got to be a shaft that's at least 8 feet deep, because he convincingly falls through and onto something, probably. So there's probably some existing hole in that area. Like, I don't know whether they shot on location in one big estate, but they'd have to either dig out a trench so they could make a pit type thing. In that case, I'm thinking of the Mind's Eye one or whatever, where homeless guy falls into a pit of concrete and dies, or that whole thing, which was quite the obvious. So they would have had to do the
Via
same.
Negativa.
Yeah, that was the one. So this is a case where they've got to create a pit for him to fall into, complete with ratcheting spring-loaded trapdoor that goes back into place. Because I bet there's not something like that already in position for them to shoot with. They have to create it. So that's probably why it is where it is, because like you're not going to put that in somebody's front door, cool as it would be. That would be quite a bit of work and probably have to clean up after. Whereas you could dig a 12-foot trench with a backhoe and then make a plausible pit-like scenario out of it.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we're going to come back from commercial to dozens of FBI agents coming off the area of the estate, led by 80 Skinner. Skinner's phone rings. It's Scully, who's heard of Doggett's disappearance. She wants to help, and Skinner blows her off. She's on maternity leave after all, and they're doing everything that can be done. But Mike, what if that's not enough?
God, she's right.
Yeah, she should be there. She could lend her expertise.
She flies in on a helicopter. All right, guys, I'm here. Let the real shit begin.
I got this. Well, we cut to Doggett, reviving from unconsciousness in a dark room. And this is yet another case where fucking Doggett gets the snot beaten out of him. Like, he's the episode's punching bag. He's the show's punching bag.
Yeah. But he's scrappy.
I guess.
He can take it.
If somebody is going to take a punch, it's going to be freaking John Doggett. That's how this show kind of speaks to me.
Absolutely.
Well, his gun is beside him, so he takes it and uses his flashlight to illuminate his way as he begins to investigate the cobwebbed passageway. Looking up, he sees the trap door. He fell quite the distance. No service on his cell phone. Drat. We cut to Mulder, who walks into a medical bay to find Scully hard at work, performing an autopsy on Arlen Sachs. An assistant, perhaps smelling the tension between our heroes, bravely flees to take a sample to the lab.
Seems like old times. You and Scrubs slicing and dicing.
What are you doing here, Mulder?
Actually, I wandered away from my tour. Better question is, what are you doing here?
I found something that may prove helpful in locating Agent Doggett. This is Arlen Sachs, the murder victim Doggett was investigating. This old man was not murdered, Mulder. He died of heart failure, evidently after he was blinded by a chemical substance of some kind. The orbits have residual traces of a slimy substance known as hydrolytic enzymes.
Venom, produced by reptiles.
How'd you know that?
Before Agent Doggett and his partner went missing, they sent in samples to be analyzed. Hydrolytic enzymes, Skinner told me.
I also found some bacteria in the venom, which I'm going to do a culture on.
Let somebody else do it. There are other concerns right now.
I know. But this is an X-file, Mulder, and you are out of the bureau. And now if I go home, where is Skinner going to find someone qualified to look into this?
I know where he can find somebody.
We cut back to Doggett as he walks through what appears to... Wait a second. I need to ask a question.
Yeah.
Who is Mulder referring to in that moment?
Himself.
But the question is...
He clearly, Andrew, I'm surprised you missed this. He clearly rips open his button-up T-shirt to reveal a golden red M.
Yeah.
And then he puts his hands on his hips and looks off into the distance. Mulder Man.
Mulder Man. Except he's no longer...
You have a problem with this?
Not a bit. I think it would be a great little direction for the show. I think it's a spin-off waiting to happen. We've already known that Mulder has superpowers, and this is just the final thing given shape here. But
so you're upset with Mulder actually coming onto the case?
He's not part of the FBI anymore. Although
he knows that. They draw attention to that.
He's got a
doesn't mean he can't show up.
Plenty of
Skinner more than allows for him to do his thing. He could have him arrested. He doesn't.
No, exactly. He gets his info from Skinner. He walks away from his tour group. The plot is pretty lenient to him being involved again. Yeah.
I think my first move, if I truly didn't want Mulder to be involved, if I was Skinner, I would get to his apartment and tranquilize him in his sleep. just before I even leave to find my agents, I'd be like, nope, I'm not going to go through this. So, Mulder, have a good nap.
Yeah. Well, the show can't keep him away. I mean, it's got a long affair
keep
with him,
a good Mulder down.
You can't keep a good Mulder down. All right, we're back with Doggett as he walks through what appears to be an underground lair. He steps on something odd, what appears to be a shell of a desiccated wolf's head. And then he hears the telltale sound of our monster. And we have quite the build-up until it pounces upon him. But instead of killing him, it just slimes him a bit. And he fires 4 shots at it, missing completely as it rushes down the wall and out of sight. He blinks and tries to clear his eyes. Suddenly, Harrison is there, perhaps drawn to the sound of his gunfire. She reveals that she's in the same boat. Her vision is all blurry, and that there is a third victim. We cut to them, wandering through the hallways slowly until they arrive at the comatose body of Gary Sachs. She's not sure how they got there. She thinks maybe it dragged her down. And then she reveals the details from Detour, men who took victims on the ground. But now Doggett is on board the Thing train. He's thinking that this place is being used as a way to keep live meals for the creature. Harrison can see a hint of light beyond, but between the two of them, they have terrible vision, unable to see what they're going to do. And what they do see above them, though, is a shaft leading to a grate dozens of feet in the air. They are far underground.
My God.
So we're finally into our main direct point of the plot. It's going to be agents versus creature. What do you think so far of this power of the creature to blind them with its goo?
I like it. It ramps it up just a little bit because now we've got two agents. Not only are they trapped somewhere, they are with dwindling resources. So that resource being vision. It's a good way to up the ante without a huge happening, right?
Yeah.
So I like that they're both still conscious and working together, and now it's going to become what can they accomplish before their eyesight goes down.
Yeah.
So
terrible.
We get a glimpse of the monster. That's neat.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, and terrible marksmanship on the part of John Doggett, I guess.
Well, it works quickly. You can't fault him for that one, Andrew.
Oh, I sure can. I
You
sure
just
can.
hit something. You know what? I'm gonna spray oil in your face, and then you hit these 3 targets moving.
I could do it. I think he could have done it too.
All right.
Okay. Well, the question I had was, and maybe it just happened so quickly. Maybe they do show, the shots ricocheting and missing, but I didn't know whether it was just invulnerable to gunfire or whether he was legitimately missing.
Oh, he was missing.
Well, clearly he was missing because at the end he shoots it once and it dies. But no, it wasn't clear. And I thought, well, what's the point of shooting at it if you're just gonna miss? But this won't be the first time, or sorry, it won't be the last time that he.
Are you asking this question? I mean, everyone shoots even if they're gonna miss. They don't know they're gonna miss. They're hoping for the best.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's 4:47, and Mulder arrives at the crime scene. He's chided by Skinner, as Mulder's not supposed to be here. Skinner reveals that the local police found Doggett's car at a convenience store some distance away, so the search team is going to go there instead. Mulder, of course, is going to check out the woods for himself. And Mike, does this mean that the monster drove John Doggett's car to the convenience store?
Somebody did. Are you serious? Or
No, how did the car get there? Was it always there and they walked here?
the good doctor?
Yeah, ultimately. But I do like the idea that it's the
You think a
salamander
monster
creature.
is like making good on what he's chosen to do. So he's gonna finish the job here. All right, dump the car. Start using the credit card at ATM.
Exactly. It's
wrong pin. Shit, it's locked.
damn it. How am I going to get cash now?
Where am I gonna get my smokes?
Okay, if we're going to go on that line, because it's the first indication that there is somebody else, a more intelligent creature or person who is connected with this, able to cover the tracks and divert the FBI away from the estate. So they do that, but yet they keep Doggett armed. Like if he is intelligent, is it just that he wasn't there to be nearby Doggett to relieve him of his gun and
Probably,
flashlight?
yeah. I
That
would
must be
imagine it can't be everywhere. Can't solve all the problems, even if it might be a plot hole. But we'll see.
I think
We'll see.
I think Harrison still has her gun.
I'm in a scene where maybe.
So the creature, Dr. Stites' creature, whatever, is selectively intelligent. And the episode's a bit cagey about when he is intelligent and not. Or maybe he likes a challenge and he's going to keep him
I mean,
armed.
it could be the Hulk thing. When you're the creature, you You just
just impulse
act
driven or something.
impulsively. Yeah, not really a person per se, but
Okay. Well, it's the only thing that makes sense so far, so I'm on board. All right, we're back with Doggett, who's beginning the long climb up the shaft as Harrison looks on uncertainly. At the same time, Mulder is walking through the woods as Doggett climbs the shaft. It's a perilous climb for Doggett, who's clearly not equipped for this arduous climb, as Mulder reaches the scene of the trap door. A man approaches. This is Herman Stites. And it's played by Zach Grenier, and you've seen this guy before. Most notably as David Lee in The Good Wife, if you haven't seen that show.
Yes.
It's very good.
I like him as Andy in Twister.
Oh, yeah.
Andy, side note, that guy dies in a horrible way. He didn't deserve that, so we can keep moving.
Okay. Well, Mulder asks Stites if he's seen anything unusual around, dangerous animals, that sort of thing. Stites is confused. He thought the police were looking for Gary Sachs. As Doggett almost falls, Mulder continues his questioning of Stites, capitalizing on the fact that Stites assumes he's the FBI. And with a funny twist, he tells Stites his name is Alvin Kirsch.
Oh!
Yes, cute. Stites reveals he's a biologist, and Mulder uses his abilities to make some accusations.
I don't think Gary Sachs committed this murder, Mr. Stites. I think he may be a victim himself.
I didn't catch your name, Agent.
Kirsch. Alvin Kirsch.
I'm a scientist, Mr. Kirsch.
What kind of scientist are you?
A biologist, so I know something about animals. They don't generally carry men off into the woods like poor Mr. Sachs.
I don't think this was an animal. I think it was a man using some kind of reptile venom to blind them first.
That would be quite a trick.
Hey, you'd really have to know what you were doing. You'd have to be, say, a scientist.
Are you accusing me of something, Mr. Kirsch?
No. I'm just thinking out loud, Mr. Stites.
Mulder walks off as Doggett reaches the top of the shaft, pulling aside the grate at the limit of his strength. Stites approaches the exit of the shaft, seeing Doggett, but making no move to help him. As Doggett asks for help, Stites shows us he's a son of a bitch by stepping on Doggett's hand until Doggett is forced to let go, falling dozens of feet to land in a heap beside Harrison, spraying her with blood as he dies instantly. And we cut to commercial. Boy, what an end for Doggett, eh? Ignominious.
Poor guy. Yeah, that one hurts. That one's like, wow. That is quite the fall.
How is he not dead? He falls like 40 feet.
Well, thankfully.
Or breaking some bones. I mean,
thankfully it wasn't 40 feet, but I'd say we're about halfway there at the most.
You think it's 20?
Yeah, it was quite a distance.
Doesn't even sprain an ankle. He's just going to have the wind knocked out of him.
He's just going to get back up, dust himself off.
Starting all over again.
Stites.
Yeah.
Yep.
When we come back for commercial, it turns out Doggett is not dead, as Harrison asks him what happened. Doggett reveals he was forced to fall by the guy and makes the link that this is probably the scientist who owns the estate. Harrison's about to make another reference to a past case, which Doggett shuts down. They're on their own. Doggett wants Harrison to stay with Gary Sachs, giving her a gun, but she then reveals that Gary Sachs has disappeared. All that remains of him is his clothes. Oh, okay. So this means what, Mike? That the monster came in while they weren't looking and sucked him dry? What?
Yep. He turned into a shell and then he drank him.
So he was legitimately in two places at once, because Stites was upstairs and monster was downstairs.
Well, we don't know the time. The gaps, the jumps.
Listen, Stites gets around. That's what I'm getting here. He's
a reptile. Those suckers can move.
It's true. It is true. It's a bit lean on plot consistency, I would say, but all right. I will accept it.
All right.
We cut to Mulder, who's eating sunflower seeds while waiting in his car. Another little plot, little fan service there. Look at you, sunflower seeds. Scully calls him to reveal that Skinner's pissed. Skinner found out from Stites that Mulder's been impersonating Kirsch and making baseless accusations. They trade information. Scully's autopsy has revealed the venom in Arlen Sachs's eyes, although I think that's already been That's already been a plot point they covered. So, all right, thanks.
Yeah.
Mulder reveals he found the Apollo medallion that she gave to Doggett. Meanwhile, the lab assistant returns with results from the analysis of the venom. The computer shows us some wonderful 2000s graphics as the assistant reveals the venom is breaking down tissue. The venom blinds its victim, and then bacteria excretes protease and collagenase throughout the victim's body. Digestive enzymes, muscle, bone, all of it slowly liquefied while the victim's skin is made hard and brittle to form a sac from which the reptile can drink. And scarily, apparently, there are precedents for this in nature. But Scully reassures her and us that there's no species which can do all of this yet. All right, that's a lot of information. What do you take away from that so far?
Well, I mean, it gives us at least part of the answer as to what's happening and what they're dealing with. So I do like when they do stuff like this in the X-Files where they make it just believable enough.
Yep. Oh, you know I love that. Yep.
They allude to nature, things that actually happen. Obviously, episodes like Firewalker where the fungus that actually takes over ants and things like that exists, and those things grow out of them. I do like that. It is something that's simple enough to wrap my head around in this moment, so I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
Yeah.
It explains the shells that Doggett's been seeing and kind of what that's about. So
yeah, it does. I'm fine with this, and I would have been fine with all of it if that's where it ended. Like if it was just he made a monster's on the loose, he's protecting the monster. I think you know where I'm going, in that I'm not going to be in love with him being able to turn into the monster.
The Weir monster?
Yeah, but we'll get into that.
All right.
We're going to cut back to Doggett, who wanders blindly with Harrison through the underground lair. Harrison apologizes to Doggett. She's not qualified for what they're doing. She reveals that she's completely blind now, and then in the distance we hear the slithering of the monster. In the distance they see it, and Doggett fires several more times, missing again as it scurries around a corner. Chasing it, Doggett finds it has disappeared, but there is a door, locked. Harrison calls out for him, and we see what the creature is doing. Harrison thinks the body she's leaning over is Gary Sachs, and indeed, he doesn't look good. Back with Mulder, Scully calls.
Mulder.
You were right about Herman Stites, Mulder.
What'd you find?
Well, Stites is a cryptobiologist specializing in reptile genetics. Listen to this. It says here that he published a monograph last year claiming to be on the verge of creating a new species of reptile.
You don't think he succeeded, do you?
I don't know. He dropped out of sight and never published a follow-up. But Mulder, the bacteria inside this venom. If Stites is genetically altering reptile breeds, it may explain the peculiar properties. Mulder, are you listening to me? Mulder? Mulder?
I think Mr. Stites might have a lot more than that to explain.
Classic Mulder. I'm not going to tell you bye.
Yeah.
I'm just going to hang up on you.
Why hang up? You know,
because it's his last episode to do this to her.
Yeah.
Mulder, give me an answer. Where are you? Bye.
Or just hang up,
or just click. Yeah.
Did we have a bad connection? I mean, it was the 2000s.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well,
and Mulder doesn't, or excuse me, Doggett doesn't have a cell service, so.
Well, he's downstairs in a evil dungeon, so of course he doesn't have cell service there. Well,
I suppose.
Mulder sees something outside the car, and the music tells us that something bad is about to happen. So, of course, he hangs up on Scully and rushes outside as Scully wonders if they've had a bad connection. Look at that. I wrote notes which just said exactly what that was implied. Mulder sees the monster running impossibly fast across the lawn of the house, chasing after it as it climbs the side of the house to the roof. Mulder begins to pound on the door to no avail. On the other side, we see the creature, what appears to be a half-human, half-salamander, crawl around the stairs. Suddenly, a transformation. It's not a monster anymore, but in fact, the naked body of Herman Stites, giving us a villainous pose before the camera as he wipes slime from his face. And we cut to commercial. Mulder still hammering upon the door. All right, there's our big reveal. The monster is in
Yes.
fact Herman Stites, and Herman Stites is the monster.
And
You can
it
shift
is
between-
revealed to be John Barnett. You've guessed it, ladies and gentlemen, from Young at Heart. The salamander hand has become the salamander man.
Why did they not just do a sequel of that episode in spirit?
As I'm watching it now and we're talking about it, this is the ultimate nod to fan service because they had the salamander hand, which I think we and other people kind of came up with. But yeah, now this is a full-grown salamander man, whereas in Young at Heart, they just used salamander genes and things like that, DNA.
I hadn't made the connection there. I think if they were going to do it, they should have done it and just been like,
right,
reference the shit out of that episode, that terrible, terrible episode.
Somehow John Barnett survived, even though we watched him pretty much die.
This is John Barnett's brother, who is Herman Stites.
Juan Barnett,
half-brother.
He's adopted.
Okay, well, there we go. Now the question, of course, is why doesn't Herman Stites just fuck up Mulder? Why does he run away?
I am not ready to.
I got 3 in the cellar. I don't need a 4th right now.
This is all part of his plan.
Yes, he's a very...
String along the guy who's figuring it out.
Why isn't Mulder calling for all sorts of backup now? Like,
maybe it's a shot clock thing. Maybe when he transforms, he's got 30 minutes to do whatever he's going to do, and he just knows when it's about to end.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they don't mention that at all.
Not a bit.
But
the monster's
that's...
powers are very vague.
So he knew his time was up. So he scurries into the house and then opens the door as if, oh, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, a little gaslighting to go with the shape changing.
Yes.
Why doesn't Mulder call Skinner the minute he finds the Apollo 11 token?
It's Mulder.
I know it's Mulder, but I mean, come on, man. Come on. You don't have to be vigilante justice all by yourself now.
Oh, he's got to figure it out.
I suppose.
And he's got to see it for himself. If the FBI gets their hands on this, they're just going to shoot it.
This is exactly what happens at the end. All right,
by an FBI agent.
I'm going to reserve all the rest of my objections for the end, which is thankfully coming.
All right.
When we come back from commercial, Mulder gives another pounding upon the door and then gives up, starting to dial a number on his cell phone. Oh, look, he's finally going to do the right thing. But just then, the door opens, revealing Stites no longer naked. Mulder barges in, accusing Stites of harboring the creature. But Stites only looks at Mulder like a crazy person, as Mulder demands to know where they are. Back with Doggett, it looks bad for our agents until we hear a knocking on the impassable door. It's Mulder calling in for Doggett. So, Mike, what was the scene between Mulder and Stites in that in-between time that we did not see? Was Stites saying, okay, you got me. They're downstairs in the cellar. I thought I heard voices.
Yeah, it probably verges on some sort of Bond villain monologue that I'm so confident in what I've done and what's about to happen that yeah, I'll show you what's going on because you're not going to leave here alive. Oh, FBI agent who was recently fired. Let me show you where we've got your friends. And then he's going to morph and...
Man, but that assumes Mulder's pretty stupid.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I would say he's absolutely going to follow this guy down there because it's Mulder. And he needs to see to believe.
Mm-hmm.
He's confident in himself, if not stupid at times. But I would say him going down there voluntarily is believable for Mulder's character.
Okay.
If you want my opinion.
I will reserve my objection till later.
No, you can object away.
Soon enough, Mulder arrives with Stites in tow. Doggett, near blind, asks Mulder who's with him. It's Stites, of course. Doggett reveals Stites has been protecting the monster, keeping them down here. But more than that, Harrison goes further, using a superpower of her own. Stites hasn't been protecting it. He is the monster. Well, they all turn to see that Stites has disappeared, locking the door and trapping Mulder in there with them. Mulder reveals he doesn't have a weapon, so he's going to get Doggett's until Mulder sees the monster is now on the wall looking at him, so maybe he won't go over there. Instead, he's going to help Doggett to aim, but it's hopeless. Doggett can't see. Mulder has a last-ditch plan, thinking that the creature is going to leap at him to strike, so he tells Doggett to aim at the sound of my voice. Doggett doesn't want to do that, but complies, so that just as the creature leaps, Mulder tells him to fire, and Doggett does several times. And we have an excruciating pause as Doggett cries out for Mulder, getting no response. And then Mulder emerges from beside Doggett, telling him he's fine. So, for why? Why did Mulder stay silent for so long? Is he a fucking sadist? Is he like...
Oh, yeah, he's fucking with him. But I think part of it is probably he's checking to make sure Stites is dead. We just don't watch it.
He's
because, I mean,
pushing the knife into Stites' throat, just, I was
just
busy
to
for a
make
moment
sure.
there. I was doing something R-rated that we can't show on Fox.
Yes. Yeah, I think he's just twisting the knife, having fun with Doggett, but also I think he's checking Stites' condition to make sure they're safe.
You can't, offhandedly say, "Okay, I'm fine. You missed me," or I don't know.
No. Well, that's the twisting the knife part.
Sure.
Him and Doggett have only just met. They're going to break each other's balls.
Yeah, fine. It's friggin' plot juice is what it is. They're just be like, "Oh, did he shoot him? Did he shoot him?"
Can't you just have fun?
Yeah, this is how Mulder really exits. Is shot by a Doggett, when confronting the salamander man.
Oh, man.
Well, Mulder now goes over to examine the corpse, taking the air out of your tires. Does it after. The salamander man reverts to the form of Stites in classic werewolf fashion. Once you're dead, you revert to human form. The silent coda on the life of Herman Stites and the impossible case of the salamander man.
Salamander man.
Anything you want to say on that impressive action sequence before I move on to our denouement?
Oh, it's fun. It's just complicated enough. It's not really something that is ridiculous. It doesn't strike me as like they had to go through some grand display to finish up the episode. It unfolds bit by bit throughout the episode, and they do need to get to a point where they can resolve the episode with everyone in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So this being a quick resolution, we as the audience kind of knew the answer significantly before they figured it out. So I was ready for it to wrap up. I don't feel cheated like it was some grand buildup and it's just dead with a bullet. I think it's human enough so where I can believe that. So I'm okay with it.
Okay. Well, we cut to Washington Memorial Hospital. Classic standby for all your DC injuries, where Doggett leaves Harrison's room. Mulder and Scully arrive, and Doggett has a moment of thinking that Scully is about to deliver. Well, clearly Doggett has never been part of a birth before, as Scully is in no way in labor. I mean, come on, she looks fantastic. Doggett reveals Harrison is on the mend, receiving the same antivirals that he got, and Harrison's vision has returned. Harrison is not returning to the X-Files, her choice. It'll just be Doggett for a while. Mulder goes to return the Apollo 11 token to Doggett. Doggett refuses, suggesting that Harrison would appreciate it more. And we end on a scene with Mulder, Scully, and Harrison, with Harrison appreciating the token. She asks the duo about the Antarctica escapade and specifically how they managed to return. We never get an answer, as the two debate whether it was actually a UFO. And we end the episode with Doggett walking away. So this is clearly a little pickup from fans debating on the internet how the duo would have escaped from Antarctica, and nice little dig to sort of bring that up through the eyes of Layla Harrison. Nice tie-in to internet connectivity. In a sense, it's a love letter to the internet fans, using Layla Harrison as a device for that.
Conduit.
Anyway, Doggett's had enough of it. He walks away. That's where we end our episode, Mike. That is the end of Alone. Cut to credits. Begin your final thoughts.
I like it. It's a fun little episode, a nice little send-off to Mulder and Monster of the Week. It was about as out there as you can get without going into absolute lunacy, but I enjoyed it. I think it moves fast enough. The characters get there in a way that, to me, makes sense. There's science, there's a little bit of nature involved, and it's nice to see Mulder save the day. So, yeah. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fan service like we talked about. Sometimes it, again, like I said earlier, it does feel a little like he's not confident in his product, but I actually do enjoy the scene at the end with with the nod to the movie and how did they ever escape Antarctica. I like it because he was a part of that decision, right? So he's allowing the poking fun at himself and Chris Carter. So maybe they found legitimacy in those complaints and are willing to give it some life in the show, which I think that's always fun when producers and writers decide to do that. You know, they can admit maybe something was a mistake, but let's bring it to the forefront and kind of walk right into the helicopter blades. But
yeah,
I think it's fine enough. So good episode, enjoyable. It does have problems, but what episode doesn't? So
yeah, that's true enough. True.
Clyde Bruckman.
Perfect episode.
I've answered my own question. My argument has crumbled before me.
Perfect episode, no problems. It's the only one. Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, I think it's a good old-fashioned Monster of the Week, for sure. And they try another agent on for size, Layla Harrison. I want to talk a little bit about why she is poked into the episode and then immediately shoofed away, only to return, much later on. But they don't pull a Monica Reyes to try and use her as a character. But in this episode, she's a useful proxy for the Scully-Mulder dynamic. The creature itself, it's believable, I suppose, but not in love with the late stage reveal and that it's in fact Herman Stites as a shape changer. That was, if they're going to do that, I think they needed to drop hints for his ability to do that sooner. Like, I think we needed to introduce the Herman Stites character much earlier, as opposed to him just appearing on his lawn.
Right.
Plus, to me, it was odd, the relationship between Sachs and Stites then. Like, is Sachs the one who gave him the book? Like, does Sachs know? Clearly, Sachs knows the nature of the creature. He's having his son go out and check all the locks and stuff. But I guess Gary didn't, and thus the creature got out. And then it decided to kill these two for reasons that we don't know. Like, there are unanswered questions, I suppose, that bother me, is what I'm saying there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
No, I get it. It is unexplained, and it is one of those, what is the relationship between these two people that allows the old man to have knowledge of the creature.
Yep.
So we have to, I guess, assume, which isn't always great, but just kind of assume that relationship, and maybe it was some sort of study apprentice kind of thing, or coworker even. Maybe one guy went and lost it and changed himself and fucked with DNA. And now he's making himself the ultimate predator.
The ultimate predator meets the ultimate prey.
Boop.
Something like that. All right, well, I mean, I don't know why it couldn't have just been a creature that he designed. That would be much more believable, rather than opening this Pandora's box of questions about how he manages to turn into a shape-shifting salamander. But I'm going to officially drop it. Because, as you say, it's got enough good stuff to make it all right. It's not a great episode in my mind. I don't think people will remember it with fondness, but
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's not one that people will likely pick up as, oh, I need to go back and watch this again because it was just so good. It's fun enough. The characters are all there. It's not annoying, although I have heard people bitch about Layla as a horrible character, and I don't know that I agree with that. But
let's talk.
There are always going to be.
Let's talk about that decision.
Like I said, I think the toe dip of what is the X-Files and what do they look like without Mulder and Scully as the main thrust of the show. That's how I take her character. I think it's just a, let's try it on for size and see what reactions we get. And I don't see it as bad. It's still an intriguing episode when the two main players aren't on the screen. But yeah, she just kind of towed that line of the 2000s trope of one quirky agent who gets into messes and how are they going to get out. That's what she strikes me as. So I'm not a huge fan of that model. I do like shows like Psych, but that is a little bit different. I don't know if the X-Files would have been great with one agent constantly being comic relief. Maybe you can make the argument that Mulder is that because he has such dry sense of humor. and he drops one-liners but that's different. That's not
He's not a clown.
a buffoon. Yeah, he's not a buffoon.
Yeah.
He's not fumbling
Whereas
around and then
Harrison
managing.
is a clown.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a clown.
Mhm.
So there's not a lot of places for her to go. So I think she was a nostalgia transfer device is the best way I can
Yes.
describe her. She's the reason.
She was the vessel through which they were going to drop their references
Absolutely.
to other episodes.
Yeah. They for some reason he felt the need to pepper this episode with nostalgia and fan service, and that was the vehicle with which he was going to do it.
Well,
so
and she's the perfect choice to do it because I think they had a double purpose there. They needed a way to drop those references, and they wanted to honor the real life Layla Harrison by making a character around her. So she's clearly going to be investigating the case. So she has to be an FBI agent of some kind of stature. Her travel agent status or whatever, doing the travel claims is a perfect throughway that she knows all her history, and much like the actual Layla Harrison motive. So, it's a nice device, and I don't mind the character.
No, not at all.
And I guess I'm answering my own question of why would they introduce her if only just to remove her immediately, as she tried it and it didn't work. So she left. And that is because the character's too much. They can't have her in every episode because it changed the show into a comedy.
Right. And they don't want that. If they were going to do that anywhere, she should have appeared in season 6 when I think my calculation was about 12 to 12 humorous episodes to serious episodes.
Yeah.
Or 12 to whatever I don't even remember how many episodes are in that season, but
she's still alive at that point. So
absolutely.
You can't honor her at that point,
Right.
That would be
I think it's a fun character, fun episode. If the X-Files had kept her on, where can you go from that unless you adopt this polar opposite serious / comedic agent working together? It's just not, it doesn't really work with the show. So
what do you think of her superpower of figuring out Stites is the creature? I thought that was a hell of a leap.
It's a leap for sure. But I mean, Mulder leaps. I mean, I can't really find fault outside of that's just the X-Files, right? So everyone makes a leap. Mulder knows the case before we are 5 minutes in. He knows what's going on. And most of the time, he relays that information rather quickly. So, at least she waited till the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, anyway.
At this point, we're 8 years into the X-Files, and they do it every episode. So I'm okay with the formula at this point of someone figuring it out.
The only thing I would say is if we're going to have that as the reveal, you need to give her a little something to go on so that she can get there. Like a smell that she smelled, and now she smells it again when Herman Stites is in the room. It's like that. The creature's here. No, it's not. It's just this guy, Herman Stites. Well, he's the creature then. I don't know. Could have been something.
It must be him.
But just her saying, oh, he's the creature. That just begs the question, based on what exactly are you making that crazy claim?
Yeah.
You crazy woman.
It's the birth of the internet conspiracy theory. All it takes is one person to say something crazy.
So true.
Must be legitimate.
Well, Mike, I think that's the episode. I don't know about you, but I think I'm talked out of this one.
I would agree. This has been a very fruitful and entertaining episode.
Excellent. Well, I think then I'm going to let you have the final word on Alone and Lonely. You can have the final word.
I would just say, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you are fostering your senses. Don't just rely on your eyes or your ears or your sense of touch or smell. Guide them, educate them throughout your life so that in a situation like this, you have something to fight back with. Good night. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked what you heard, please rate and review on your podcast app of choice. Andrew and I would be eternally grateful to you fine people for helping us expand and get the word out. Also, we've got a killer group on Facebook. Feel free to join in on the discussion at facebook.com/groups/thisisnothappeningpod and become an official member of the syndicate. We do polls and we have questions for every episode to give you guys the opportunity to chime in and possibly let your voice be heard on our recordings. And please join us on our new Twitter at TINHXFilesPod, no dash. to stay up to date on everything, moment to moment. Thank you, and remember, don't stop swimming.